Have you ever wondered why certain symbols speak to you while others leave you indifferent? Why does one image capture your attention, while another passes by unnoticed? The truth is, nothing in your mind happens by accident. Every attraction, every choice, every moment of recognition carries profound meaning from the deepest parts of your psyche. Your subconscious mind is constantly communicating with you through symbols, images, and intuitive responses. Today, we're going to decode one of those messages together. What I'm about to share with you is rooted in depth psychology, particularly the groundbreaking work of Carl Jung, who discovered that our unconscious mind speaks to us through archetypal symbols. These symbols bypass our rational thinking and connect directly with our inner wisdom. This exercise is designed to reveal something significant about where you are in your life journey right now and what your soul is preparing you for next. This isn't entertainment or guesswork. This is a genuine exploration of your psychological landscape using proven principles of analytical psychology. Before we begin, I need you to do something important. Silence the analytical part of your mind. We're not looking for the correct answer or the choice that makes you look good. We're looking for authenticity. Your first reaction, your gut response, carries more truth than any amount of careful consideration. So take 3 deep breaths. Let your shoulders relax. Clear your mind of expectations and judgments. For this to work, you must trust your instincts completely. Now picture this scene in your mind. You're standing in a dimly lit hallway that seems to exist outside of normal time and space. The walls are lined with soft amber light that creates an atmosphere of mystery and possibility. At the end of this corridor, you see a wooden table, and on that table lie 5 distinct keys. Each one is completely different from the others. Each one seems to pulse with its own unique energy. Let me describe them to you carefully. The first key is modern and minimalist. It's made of brushed steel, completely smooth with no ornamentation whatsoever. It's the kind of key you might find on a contemporary keychain, practical and efficient in design. The second key is an antique, something you might discover in an old estate or historical museum. It's made of dark brass, heavy in weight, with intricate patterns carved into its surface that hint at forgotten stories. The third key is tiny and elegant, the type that might open a music box or a small chest of precious items. It's delicate, almost feminine in its construction, with a gentle quality that makes you want to handle it carefully. The fourth key looks weathered and forgotten. It's covered in oxidation, its surface rough and uneven, clearly having endured years of neglect. Yet something about its aged appearance gives it character and depth. The fifth and final key appears almost supernatural. It seems to emit a soft glow, as if lit from within, with an ethereal quality that makes you wonder if it's even made of physical material. It looks like something from a fantasy realm, shimmering with possibility. Take your time observing each key in your mind's eye. Which one draws your gaze? Which one creates a feeling of recognition or resonance in your chest? Don't analyze this decision. Simply notice which key your awareness gravitates toward naturally. Once you have your answer, hold it in your mind. Better yet, write it down in the comments section right now before you hear any interpretations. Just write the number or describe which one caught your attention. This creates a record of your authentic first response before your conscious mind starts second-guessing. And while you're down in the comments, if you find value in this kind of psychological exploration, I'd appreciate your support through a like and subscription. These signals help this content reach others who are also on a journey of self-discovery. It's a small action that makes a meaningful difference in keeping this work accessible to everyone who needs it. Now let's explore what your choice reveals about your current psychological state and where your inner wisdom is trying to guide you. Remember, there are no wrong answers here. Each key represents a valid and important phase of human development. Your choice simply illuminates where you are right now in your personal evolution. If you felt drawn to the smooth steel key, the modern minimalist one, your subconscious is sending you a clear message about your current needs. You're experiencing overwhelm. Your life has become too complicated, too cluttered with competing demands and unclear priorities. Deep within your psyche, there's a powerful craving for simplification and focus. You need to cut through confusion and establish clear boundaries and systems. This choice indicates that you're ready to eliminate distractions and commit to what truly matters. You've reached a point where complexity feels like an obstacle rather than richness. According to Jungian psychology, this represents a need for ego strengthening and differentiation. You're being called to develop a stronger sense of personal boundaries and clearer decision-making frameworks. This isn't about becoming rigid or cold. It's about developing the structural integrity that allows genuine freedom to flourish. Think of it like this. A river needs banks to flow powerfully. Without structure, water just spreads out and becomes stagnant. You're recognizing that you need those banks, those clear channels that will allow your energy to flow with purpose and power. The door that this key opens leads to a space of mental clarity and practical mastery. Behind it, you won't find drama or emotional intensity. Instead, you'll discover the profound peace that comes from knowing exactly what you're doing and why. This is the realm of the craftsman, the professional, the person who has learned to work with reality as it is rather than as they wish it to be. Your soul is asking you to become more grounded, more present, and more decisive. It's time to make commitments and follow through on them. It's time to organize your environment, streamline your obligations, and eliminate everything that doesn't serve your core objectives. This choice often surprises people because it frequently appears to those with creative or intuitive temperaments. If that describes you, understand that your creativity hasn't abandoned you. It's asking for a container strong enough to hold it. Every great artist eventually learns that inspiration without discipline produces nothing lasting. You're entering a phase where you'll learn to channel your gifts through consistent practice and structured effort. The result will be work that actually manifests in the world, rather than remaining perpetually potential. If the antique brass key captured your attention, the one with elaborate engravings and historical weight, your psyche is operating on a completely different wavelength. You're not seeking simplicity. You're seeking significance that transcends your individual existence. There's a hunger in you for connection to something larger than yourself, something that existed before you and will continue after you. This is the call of what Jung termed the collective unconscious, that vast reservoir of human experience and wisdom that we all share. Choosing this key suggests you're at a pivotal moment where surface-level achievements no longer satisfy you. You've tasted worldly success or perhaps pursued it long enough to recognize its limitations. Now you're asking deeper questions about meaning, purpose, and contribution. You want to know that your life matters in some enduring way. You're drawn to tradition, to lineage, to the accumulated wisdom of those who came before you. This doesn't mean you're stuck in the past. Rather, you recognize that the past holds keys to understanding the present and shaping the future. The door this key unlocks leads to a treasure chamber, but not one filled with gold or jewels. This treasure consists of inherited wisdom, ancestral strength, and archetypal patterns that can guide your life journey. By choosing this key, you're expressing readiness to explore your roots, whether that means your literal family history or the deeper cultural and spiritual traditions that inform your identity. You may find yourself drawn to studying philosophy, mythology, or historical narratives. You might discover talents or tendencies that run in your family line. Most importantly, you'll begin to see your individual story as part of a much larger tapestry. This path requires humility and patience. The knowledge behind this door doesn't come quickly or easily. It demands that you sit with complexity, that you honor what you don't yet understand, and that you approach wisdom traditions with respect, rather than trying to extract quick insights. Jung believed that individuation, the process of becoming who you truly are, requires integrating both personal and collective elements of the psyche. By choosing this key, you're committing to that deeper work. You're saying yes to becoming a link in the chain that connects past and future generations. Your success in life will increasingly be measured not by what you accumulate, but by what you pass on and what you illuminate for others. If the small, delicate key drew your attention, the one that might open a jewelry box or diary, you've made perhaps the bravest choice available. This key represents emotional authenticity and psychological vulnerability. Your subconscious is telling you that it's time to stop running from your inner life. There's something you've been avoiding, some feeling you've been suppressing, some truth about yourself that you've been unwilling to face. The time for avoidance has ended. Your soul is asking you to turn toward whatever you've been turning away from. This might be unprocessed grief from a loss you never fully mourned. It might be anger you've convinced yourself you shouldn't feel. It might be dreams you abandoned because they seemed impractical or impossible. It might be aspects of your identity that you've hidden, because they don't fit the image you've tried to project. Whatever it is, it's locked away in a private chamber of your heart, and that locked door is costing you more energy than you realize. Keeping parts of yourself hidden and suppressed requires constant vigilance and creates a subtle but pervasive anxiety. The door this key opens is the entrance to your own emotional truth. Jung taught that wholeness comes not from perfection but from integration, from accepting and including all aspects of yourself, even the parts you judge as weak or shameful. This key represents your willingness to meet yourself with compassion rather than criticism. It's the key to self-acceptance. And in our modern world where we're constantly comparing ourselves to curated images and impossible standards, this might be the most revolutionary act possible. What happens when you finally open this door? Initially, you might experience a rush of difficult emotions. There might be tears, anger, or deep sadness. This is natural and necessary. These feelings aren't new. They've been there all along, just waiting for permission to be acknowledged. Once they're expressed and witnessed, something remarkable occurs. The energy that was bound up in suppression becomes available for living. You'll feel lighter, more authentic, more at peace with who you are. Relationships will deepen because you're no longer performing or hiding. Creativity will flow more freely because you're not censoring yourself constantly. This key often calls to people who appear strong and capable on the surface, but who secretly feel fragmented or hollow inside. If that resonates with you, understand that your strength isn't diminished by acknowledging vulnerability. In fact, real strength includes the capacity to be tender with yourself, to admit when you're hurting, and to ask for support when you need it. The box this key opens contains your capacity for genuine intimacy, first with yourself and then with others. It's the gateway to living from your heart rather than just your head. If the rusty, weathered key is the one that spoke to you, prepare yourself for a profound journey. This choice indicates that you're carrying unfinished business from your past, and your unconscious mind has decided it's finally time to address it. This isn't the decorative antique key of heritage and wisdom. This is the forgotten key, the one left outside in the elements, marked by time and neglect. It represents the parts of your history you've tried to leave behind, the experiences you've attempted to forget, the wounds you've hoped would somehow heal on their own. But psychological wounds don't heal through being ignored. They fester. They influence your present behavior in ways you don't recognize. They create patterns of self-sabotage, relationship difficulties, and limitation that seem to come from nowhere, but actually originate in unresolved trauma or pain. Choosing this key means you're ready, perhaps for the first time, to go back and complete what was left incomplete. This is the work of what psychologists call integration and resolution. The door this key opens might be the most difficult one to walk through because you know that pain waits on the other side. This could be the pain of betrayal, abandonment, failure, or loss. It could be regret over choices you made or didn't make. It could be grief that you never fully processed because you had to stay strong for others. Whatever it is, it's been locked away in the basement of your psyche, and its presence there has been quietly poisoning your present. The courage required to turn this key and face what's behind that door is immense, and if you've chosen this key, you possess that courage even if you don't feel it yet. Jung wrote extensively about shadow work, the process of bringing unconscious material into consciousness, where it can be understood and integrated. This rusty key represents that shadow work. When you finally open that door, you're not doing it to dwell in the past or to wallow in victimhood. You're doing it to free yourself. Every moment you spend genuinely processing and releasing old pain is a moment of liberation. The energy that's been trapped in that locked room, maintaining the suppression, suddenly becomes available for your present life. This process often requires support. You might need therapy, trusted friends, or spiritual guidance to help you navigate what emerges. That's not weakness, it's wisdom. Some doors are too heavy to open alone, but once opened, once the air and light reach those dark corners, something miraculous happens. The past loses its power over you. You stop unconsciously recreating old patterns. You become free to respond to present circumstances based on what they actually are, rather than through the distorted lens of unhealed history. This key is your declaration that you're ready to stop being controlled by your past and start living fully in your present. Finally, if the luminous magical key called to you, the one that seems to glow with its own inner light, you've identified yourself as someone whose consciousness is expanding beyond conventional boundaries. This choice indicates that you're ready to engage with life as a creative mystery, rather than a problem to be solved. You sense that reality is more fluid, more responsive, and more interconnected than materialistic explanations suggest. You're opening to possibility, to intuition, to the subtle synchronicities that weave meaning through apparent randomness. This is the key chosen by mystics, artists, innovators, and anyone who refuses to accept that what currently exists represents the limit of what's possible. By selecting this key, You're aligning yourself with what Jung called the transcendent function, that aspect of psyche that creates bridges between opposites and generates genuinely new solutions that couldn't be predicted from existing conditions. You're becoming a conscious participant in your own evolution and, by extension, in the evolution of consciousness itself. The door this key opens doesn't lead anywhere that can be mapped because it opens into pure potential. Beyond it lies the realm where intentions take form, where focus shapes reality, where your inner state directly influences your outer circumstances. This isn't magical thinking or wishful fantasy. It's an understanding, supported by both ancient wisdom traditions and cutting-edge quantum physics, that consciousness plays a fundamental role in shaping experience. You're ready to experiment with that understanding, to test whether deliberately aligning your thoughts, emotions, and actions around clear intentions produces results that logic alone cannot explain. This path requires both faith and groundedness. The danger of the magical key is that it can lead to escapism, to spiritual bypassing of practical responsibilities, to becoming so focused on possibilities that you neglect present realities. The solution is to remain rooted while reaching upward. Dream boldly but act consistently. Trust intuition but verify through experience. Stay open to magic while honoring natural law. When you balance these polarities, you become extraordinarily creative and effective. You'll notice that opportunities appear at precisely the right moment, that the resources you need somehow manifest, that people who can help your vision cross your path seemingly by chance. Jung's concept of synchronicity is central to working with this key. Synchronicities are meaningful coincidences that can't be explained by conventional causality, but that carry profound significance for your life journey. As you consciously work with intention and attention, you'll notice more of these synchronistic events. They're signposts confirming that you're aligned with deeper currents of meaning and purpose. Your task is to notice them, honor them, and follow where they lead. This key transforms life from a series of random events into an ongoing dialogue between your deepest self and the intelligence that moves through all things. And so we've explored all 5 keys, 5 doorways, 5 dimensions of the self that are seeking expression in your life right now. The practical key of clarity and discipline, the ancestral key of wisdom and legacy, the intimate key of emotional truth and vulnerability, the weathered key of healing and release, the radiant key of co-creation and possibility. Each one represents an authentic path of development, and each one holds exactly what you need for this moment in your journey. What's most important to understand is that you are not locked into one choice forever. The psyche is dynamic, constantly shifting and evolving. The key that calls to you today might be different from the one that called to you last year, or will call to you next month. That's not inconsistency. That's growth. We move through different phases of development, and each phase requires different keys. The wisdom lies in recognizing what you need right now, and having the courage to choose it honestly. Take a moment and reflect on your original instinctive choice. Before you heard any interpretations, which key drew your attention? Now that you understand what each one represents, does that choice make sense? Does it illuminate something about where you are in your life? Sometimes our conscious understanding aligns perfectly with our unconscious knowing, and that alignment creates a powerful sense of clarity. Other times there's a gap between what we consciously think we need and what our deeper wisdom knows we need. Both scenarios provide valuable information. I invite you to write in the comments which key you chose and, if you're willing, share briefly why it resonated with you or what insight you gained from this exercise. Creating that external expression helps solidify the internal recognition. It's also fascinating to read what others have chosen and realize how many different journeys are unfolding simultaneously. We're all walking our own paths, but there's something deeply connecting about recognizing our shared humanity through these archetypal experiences. Remember that psychological work is not passive entertainment. Genuine self-knowledge demands something from you. It asks that you take what you've learned here and apply it in your actual life. If you chose the practical key, what one thing can you simplify or organize today? If you chose the ancestral key, what question can you ask an elder or what tradition can you study? If you chose the intimate key, what feeling have you been avoiding that deserves your attention? If you chose the weathered key, what old pain are you finally ready to address? If you chose the luminous key, what intention can you hold with full clarity and watch how reality responds? The keys only have power when they're actually turned. The doors only reveal what's behind them when they're actually opened. This exercise has handed you a key. What you do with it next determines whether this was just an interesting distraction or a genuine turning point in your life. Jung taught that consciousness is not a state but a process, not something we have but something we do. Every moment offers an opportunity to wake up a little more, to see a little clearer, to live a little more authentically. So hold your key with awareness and intention. Feel its weight in your hand. Recognize that it's not just a symbol but a commitment to growth, to truth, to becoming more fully yourself. And when you're ready, when you've gathered your courage and your clarity, turn that key, step through that door, discover what's been waiting for you on the other side. Because the most important journey you'll ever take isn't to some distant destination. It's into the depths of your own being, where all the wisdom, all the strength, and all the love you've ever needed has been waiting patiently for you to finally come home.